Well, this is my third game as Southend manager, and we were entertaining Wigan Athletic at home. I hadn't lost since November, so February is a long time, a very strong team. But I went with the team I had won in our previous two games. Marc Kightly in goal, Jason Demetra at right back, Anton Ferdinand alongside Michael Turner, and Ben Coker, the captain, at left back. On the left side was Michael Kightly, Michael Timlin and Drew Yearwood, my two centre midfielders, with Steve McLaughlin on the right wing, and the front two, Marc-Antoine Fortuné and Simon Cox. So we went 4-4-2, and we knew Wigan had their own style of play, which is a 4-2-3-1. So tactically we knew we had to be really aware of them. Got some real quality players, especially well, all over the park, but you know, a key player for them, of course, is Will Grigg, but Nick Powell's their key players. So in the week, you know, a lot of our focus, especially without the ball, was on trying to nullify Nick Powell in this area. So we knew we would be outgunned in the midfield. But one thing I really wanted to happen was the relationship between the two centre-backs and the two centre midfielders. So when you have Will Grigg as a central striker, single striker, and Nick Powell behind him, what can happen is our two centre midfielders, if I just push Wigan up, our two centre midfielders could get attracted to theirs and leave this space here for Nick Powell, who's a very, very good player, one of the top players in League One, would leave this space. If they went on, then there would be too much of an area. If they stayed back, they would help, but then their two centre midfielders, are good footballers, would be allowed to build play. So what we did in training a lot was the relationship, or the box, as I always called it, between the two centre midfielders and the two centre halves, making sure that if they went in and engaged, we couldn't leave a big hole here, so they would have to come up, and that would in turn push Wigan back. If Wigan didn't move, then of course it'd be offside, you know, because then we wouldn't have such a big gap between our front six and our back four. You know, that was one thing I noticed as a team that we were quite guilty of, that we didn't push up as a unit. So a lot of our training in that week was, if Drew Yearwood and Michael Timlin decided to go onto their two centre midfielders, that our two centre halves didn't have a big gap where, you know, Wigan's so clever, they'll find him in these areas. In these areas, he would turn and he could cause damage, as we'd seen in a lot of the clips. So tactically, without the ball, we made sure that the relationship was strong. The midfielders wouldn't stay wide, they would come in, and a key part of it was one of our strikers, primarily Simon Cox, dropping in. So then he would be just in touch with their centre midfielders if we didn't push on. So if they received it, he would almost sort of back tackle as such. He would just affect them. That would allow then these guys just to be in touch with him. So we would almost turn into a 4-2-3-1 without the ball. And we worked on that quite a lot and understood it well. And yeah, there are times that we may get caught out. Then it's the decision of the two centre halves, whether one steps in to engage him, or you actually accept you won't make it, you stay strong, and if he turns on it, then we defend it as a back four. Right, for our second goal, which was scored by Marc-Antoine Fortuné, we always look to play with width, especially at home. And if we can't get it down one side, like most teams, we look to switch play to get out on the other side. We started on our right side. It got switched by Drew Yearwood to Michael Timlin. Went to Michael Kightly, went back to Michael Timlin, then it allowed Ben Coker to join in. He received the ball, played it to Michael Kightly. Now, what we've been looking for, because Wigan's two centre midfielders would screen their two centre halves pretty well, Dan Byrne and Shay Dunkley. but we needed movement down the sides of them. We worked on that, and we did it a lot during the game. But what happened was Simon Cox, who, you know, is a number 9, but is a clever player, he's got guile, he sees a pass. If he dropped off in these areas, they would be reluctant to come in on him. Michael Timlin had the ball, so that attracted one of their centre midfielders. It went to Michael Kightly. He drifted inside into this little pocket. Simon Cox came away from his centre half, which was key. He didn't come with him, so when Simon Cox received it, he received it in good areas. Now, the important thing was the weight of pass and the run and the movement of Marc-Antoine Fortuné. That came as Dunkley came out. Simon Cox just played a very clever little ball down the side. Marc-Antoine Fortuné's run was here. It was a clever run, and he hit it first time across the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. We found ourselves 2-0 up in the first half at home to the league leaders at the time, Wigan Athletic.